Hello and welcome back to another Interp video lecture series. My name is Xavier Liu. I'm one of the Interp coaches here at Bellarmine. And today our lecture will all be about sustaining confidence. So remember that speech and debate is an activity that helps build up your confidence. Being able to share, speak, and debate requires you to be vulnerable and to put yourself out there and share your speech with others, right? Even though speech and debate is an activity that helps build your confidence, you also need to have a little bit of that in you to even be able to step out and share your speech in front of others. And as a result, you should be confident in your ability to not only perform in front of others, but also be confident in your work. A lot of folks feel comfortable performing in front of others, especially by the time they get to the varsity level. However, for some folks, it takes months, if not years, if not seasons, to be able to be fully confident in their work. So here are a couple tips for you to really make sure that you're confident in your work. First of all, know that you've cut this speech with the help of your coaches and your peers, right? You should be proud of that work. The energy and time that you put in, cutting your speech and finding your speech, be proud of that. Next, every single time you deliver your speech, know that it represents a culmination of your effort and hard work to get where you are now. It's super important that you look back at all of the stuff that you've done, whether that's picking your script, cutting your script, blocking your script, practicing your delivery in front of peers, coaches, parents, other folks, and know that that was hard work to get where you are now. And lastly, be proud of yourself and what you've been able to accomplish. Whether it's your first year or last year in Interp, know that what you have done is something amazing. And know what you've done represents something, or being a part of an activity that represents something bigger than yourself, right? If you don't know, public speaking is the number one fear that adults in the United States have. And so you being a young adult and stepping forward and stepping out and sharing your story is super important. And you should be proud of that. Next, we're going to be talking about confidence dips as well as some ways to sustain that confidence. Some reasons why confidence usually dip is because of low ranks at tournaments. So for example, if you don't break for an extended period of time, or you break but you don't card for an extended period of time, sometimes disparaging or useless comments from judges also really hurt because you think that you gave a really good speech, and then it turns out that that judge gave you a 6 or a 7 in the round, and they didn't write any comments other than nice job or good work. And then lastly, a stagnant script. What a stagnant script is if you've been sort of doing a lot of interp work, but essentially after League One, after you maybe perhaps carded or you did well, you just left your speech as is. You didn't try to improve it. You didn't really change anything about it. And so when you go to League Two or when you go to other tournaments and you don't do as well, sometimes your confidence takes a big hit because you're just sort of going through the motions. You're not really thinking about how you're speaking. Now, here are some ways to sustain your confidence. First of all, believe in yourself, right? Develop resilience. You've worked way too hard and way too much to give up now. You should always push through, even though perhaps you've made a couple mistakes in the last round, or whether or not it was whether or not you gave your speech in front of a coach and it just wasn't your best rendition. That's okay. Push through. Also, know that there's always a light at the end of a tunnel. Sometimes results aren't automatic. It takes a long time to see success. An example of this is the Interp captain for the 2019 and 2020 year, Sherwin Lai. He wasn't able to card until his junior year. And that took 2 years for him to even be able to get to the point where he took top 7 at a league tournament. So know that results aren't automatic. Sometimes it just takes a long time for folks to see success. Sometimes folks see a lot of success at the beginning of their season and their career, but then sort of dim out in the end. It doesn't matter who you are, what you're doing. Keep on pushing through and know that there's always a light at the end of a tunnel. Next, we can change your cut. Find ways to make and change your script so that it feels newer to you. Keep on working on cleaning up transitions, blocking, characterization, to show more cleanliness, more depth, and more dynamism of your characters and your blocking and your speech as a whole. And next, keep meeting with coaches. It's also super important that you reach out to other coaches that don't normally coach Interp for this. The reason being is that a lot of those coaches haven't seen your speech 6, 7, 8 times, right? And so as a result, they're able to give you more comments, perhaps about the script as a whole, or perhaps about the cut as a whole that would be very beneficial in ways that an interpreter or as a interp coach who's seen your speech many times wouldn't be. Now, the last thing that we're going to talk about is burnout, as well as tips to avoid burnout, right? So what burnout is essentially when, you as a speech invader have been working with speech invade for such an extended period of time that you start losing momentum, you start losing focus with your speech. Why burnout happens? Sometimes it can be due to low confidence or continued plummets in confidence due to results. Sometimes it's just because we don't find the joy in competing anymore, right? Some folks who have done very well at the beginning of their career, but then sort of hit a roadblock, perhaps their junior or senior year, can find it hard to find the joy in going to those tournaments, especially if they don't think they're not going to do as well. Sometimes it's because the repetition of speech and debate is no longer as fulfilling as it once was. Sometimes folks feel that being able to come up in front of an audience and speak, they've already sort of put that under their belt. They've got that skill already. They're sort of looking for something else. Whatever your burnout reason sort of happens to be, here are some ways to avoid it. Don't be constantly working on your speech or debate all the time. Go outside, spend time with your family, watch a movie or a favorite TV show. Go relax, right? You don't have to be working on your speech or your, debate work all the time, right? Remember that we want you to practice, but you don't need to be practicing 24/7 or, 365 days of a year in order to be good at speech and debate. A bi-weekly or tri-weekly practice is good enough, as well as working on sections. That's good. That's what we want you to be doing. You don't need to be working on stuff constantly in order to be good. Find joy and meaning in everything that you do, right? Whether it's coaching sessions or helping your friends, right? Find pockets of happiness in this activity and hold on to them, right? Those are the memories that will last with you forever. Those trophies, the hardware and the plastic that you take home at the end of a tournament, all that's cool, all that's dandy, all that's fun. But at the end of the day, those are going to break. Those are going to be thrown out. Those are going to be forgotten one day. But what's not going to be forgotten is the time that you're going to be spending with your friends at tournaments, the fun that you had, the tournaments that you've gone to and gotten lots of experience out of. That's the stuff that's going to stick with you. And lastly, one way that you can seriously avoid burnout is focusing your attention on others. If you feel confident in your speech already, help others succeed, right? Offer yourself to others and be that team player that is willing to step up and help out others when they need it. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed our confidence and autopilot lectures. If you have any questions, as always, please feel free to reach out to your captains, your peers, as well as your coaches. All of these are great resources for you to check in with. And that's it for this video.